everyone. I'm Karishma, and today I'll be interviewing Russell Targove, who is the CEO of Request Global Initiatives. So once again, hi Russell.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
So first off, can you give me some background info on yourself, like before you started your own business?
Basically, I started out, I was at a fork in the road, so to speak. I went to High School of Art and Design because I
Mhm.
love art. I love to draw, I love to paint. And at the same time, I loved baseball as well. So, you have a window of opportunity in your life that you have to realize if you want to go forward with sport. A lot of the stars, people would get signed at an early young age when you're active and you're healthy. And, usually a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these athletes, their careers only last as long as their health allows them. And even at some ages, an older athlete would be like 35 years old and they'd say, oh, they're already too old. So it's like, oh my God, when I thought of all of these things, and then I thought of music and I said, you know what? My family has always been involved with music. My grandparents and my aunts and uncles, we always had all of these birthday parties and everybody would be singing all the time and they would push me to get up and sing in front of uh, in family outings. And then I remember at like 5 years old singing in front of like 300 people. And
Wow.
like, you know what? This is kind of when your heart starts to pound and you get all excited, it's like, hey, I think I might like to do this, and uh, from my high school, when I went to High School of Art and Design, I only realized how much more I loved music because a lot of the people who were talented in art were also talented in music. It just so
Mm.
happened that was what it was. And we would cut classes and things like that, and we'd wind up singing in the hallways. And we started a group, like a singing group, a 50s group that we loved the music from the 50s and the 60s, and Dion and the Belmonts and the Beach Boys and all of that stuff. So you didn't even need to have instruments. We'd all just use our voices and we would sing in the hallway. And we started a group, and it turned out that we raised about $50,000 for our school because we put on a show. And for about 6 days in a row, we had about 800 people come and see us. And when you feel the lights on you and you see everybody screaming and hearing them scream, and they all got all excited, I said, this is kind of, I don't know if anybody would ever feel that way if a lot of things that you do in life, you do things for yourself. But I was always someone who enjoyed doing things for other people as well. And to get the reaction from them to me was even more important because it showed how much they appreciated what I was doing for them.
Yeah,
So
that's really nice.
yeah, so and then seem to get paid for things almost like a reward in a way. You
Mhm.
know, I decided to go into the direction of music, but not to forget my passion for baseball and my passion for art. So I kept them all very close knit with each other. And like I would design flyers for shows and I would do many different projects where a lot of things, any chances that I would get because of my entertainment. When I started doing more and more special events, I realized that the key elements to all special events is the entertainment and the food. Like if you have two great, things like that, you're gonna have a great party no matter what. So
Yeah,
everybody always turned to me for those things, and I started designing cakes and all types of things for clients, and people just enjoyed that, and it just kept on blossoming and growing to where now I've been doing this for almost 30 years. So
that's really nice to hear. Your passion grew into this like job basically, which doesn't happen very often.
it's true. It's very
Mhm.
natural how,
Yeah.
and it's funny too because customers turn out to be your friends, and that's the fun
Mhm.
part also. Because when
Yeah,
you work with people that you like, you know how easy it would be to work with people you like, because it's not, we don't always have that opportunity to do that.
exactly.
So and I've done many things for Queens College. I was always asked to do, I that is my alma mater, that I did go to Queens College and graduate as well, but I would do all of their annual holiday parties, so I got to meet all of the teachers, and the faculty. They'd have me do like a their holiday party, where first everybody would like to talk, but I realized you have so much diversity. There's so many cultures that are represented, even amongst all of the teachers and the faculty, which showed me that I had to be diverse with the music also. So that's really kind of like what I feel. I've been very fortunate to realize that we live in Queens, New York, where this is the melting pot of the world. I mean, everybody is here. And if you play the right music for them and you respect everybody's culture, this is how my business has been growing, and my popularity has grown as well, because people know that I'm honest and have integrity and care about everyone's feelings. It's very important to do that.
Yeah, that's really important. So the next question I have is, what type of business is Request Global Initiatives exactly, and what services do you offer?
Okay, well, I had started out first pursuing my own record career, my recording career. So that was in the beginning. I was young, and I came very close to getting a record deal with Motown Records years ago. And the record business is very challenging, very difficult, very a little underhanded. I didn't like what I saw. And I was like, oh my God, when you have a goal or a dream and then you finally get to the door and you see how things are done, it's like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that. But to me, I always enjoyed doing special events and having a opportunity to celebrate your birthday or a wedding or anything to that event. So I was always loving to sing for people who wanted me to sing for them, and to learn about the other opportunities that people always would love to maybe sing karaoke as well. So I had developed my business to cater to all of the people in my audiences that they wanted to sing also. So I had to develop a karaoke show that showed the words on the screen so people could read the words, and provide them with the sound and the music and give them the stage to perform. So that was the beginning of my business back in July of 1992, when I first did my first karaoke show at King Yum Chinese Polynesian restaurant on Union Turnpike, where a lot of people know me from. And unfortunately, it closed about 6 years ago, but I was there for 24 years. And I had maybe 200 people every Friday night almost.
Oh,
And I did Wednesday nights there occasionally also. But Friday nights was the place that everybody would bring their families to go celebrate something, or just to go out. So that was the beginning of my business. And over time, it just continued to grow, where I started to have people come in, even the St. John's University, uh, the students and the staff, and my good friend Jojo Persico is still the women's volleyball coach from St. John's University. So she'd bring her whole team in there, and the men's basketball team would come in, and the ceiling wasn't really even high enough for these guys to come in, but we managed, and it was really fun, and it just kept on blossoming. So it kept on growing to where, unfortunately, the pandemic was kind of a real roadblock for me, uh, because I was really doing so many things. And I did one of my biggest shows that I've done is for the Queens Chamber of Commerce. I would do the Queens Chamber Business Expo at Citi Field every year. and they had me do the Fort Cotton Independence Day fireworks celebration, and who knew that 20,000 people were going to come out?
Oh.
So it just got me to be where I got, very popular and requested to do a lot of these things. And I had a lot of major clients, NYU Langone Hospital, the New York Mets were a big client of mine that they actually asked me to start designing cookies and cakes for them too. So because I'm such a fan, like I said, the baseball, any chance that I get, I always would bring in baseball or sports or music, or art, to just intermingle with everything. So I always like to stay very creative, and
Mhm.
it just kept on growing to where it was not just music, because people would turn to me, maybe they'd want me to help promote their something with their business or a new product that they would have. And almost like an advertising agency, people would say, what's your idea, what do you think? And I would turn around and help them and develop my client base that way.
Yeah,
So
smart.
that's really what it has been up until the pandemic.
Mm, okay. So does your business have like a mission or a mantra?
Because of the pandemic, everything kind of like the light went on for me. Like I just realized, if you cannot deal with people, if you deal with your clients the way that you always have in the past. And for me, I feel I'm try to be very personable with people, and engaging. And if you see someone, you want to give them a hug or they give you a kiss or whatever. And now it's like I have my mother and my father in my mind saying, don't do that, be careful, whatever. And you see on TV everybody wearing masks and
Mhm.
glasses. I would be so inclined to go into nursing homes or senior centers and just uplift everybody's spirits. That's what they'd always ask me to do. So, and now it's like when you're kind of stalled to not be able to do that anymore. I really, really try very hard to come up with a new, better plan to evolve and find ways that I can come up with some kind of solutions to reach these people again, and find out what people need actually, because there's always when you have someone who does need something, and that you can help them with that. To me, it works hand in hand when you can collaborate with someone and get to that goal, because once you succeed with them, they're like your calling card. They're going to tell everyone, how I did this with Russell helped me. So that's kind of like how now I feel much more health and wellness oriented, where I try to realize that we all have to be safe, we all have to be healthy, because it's just to do something online is great, but there's an element that's missing, and that's the human element, the
Mhm.
real emotional element that people still have to have. We can't lose that. So all of these other products and ideas and inventions that I've come up with over the last 3 years is culminating to all of this, is where I am right now. And that's my mission at this point. I've developed, taking my network and all of the contacts and all of the goals and the feelings of doing uh, really great things for people, uplifting their spirits, but now using all of that to take it to the next level, to take it on a bigger scale, you
Yeah,
know.
your
But
business is constantly evolving and growing.
absolutely. And that's why when I met Ying Zhu, the
Mhm.
executive director from the uh, tech incubator program at Queens College, I was just learning so much about from a different perspective, because when you're an owner of a company, but you're the company, you're the person who everybody is dealing with. It's different when you have employees and different when you have managers and whatever. But I was the one who was implementing a lot of the services, and, developing a lot of things, and, getting to meet the clients myself. So realizing that you have to grow and you have to change your perspective and using the internet and technology and creating other technologies as well to assist all of that is vital to reach people. That's really important to there was one element that I had trouble with, and that's because the senior community that I was dealing with, um, they're not internet savvy. They're not good with cell
Mhm.
phones, not good with, I was even thinking of trying to do something with the Amazon, the Echo devices,
Yeah.
the like Alexa devices. But even that, a lot of people, it's just too technical for
Yeah.
people, and they don't understand people's voices sometimes, and it's not loud enough, or it's too invasive. You you feel that people are listening to you. So it's about trust. Also, a lot of times people just don't feel good about something new, so to speak.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Do you have any person or experience that serves as an inspiration to your business or even like personally?
I guess what I would feel is over the course of me growing, and pursuing uh, my business and in the music and just developing relationships, there are key people that I had met along the way, and one was I considered him my uncle in the music business.
Hmm.
Was a gentleman that they called Uncle Rocky, and his name was Robert Ford Jr. He would be the mentor for everyone from Russell Simmons and Rush Management, Def Jam Records, anybody who was signed to that label, and he was the manager for many of them. And I would call up and talk to him. We'd meet constantly, and he just said, "Oh, nobody ever listens to me." And I'm like, "I'm listening, I'm listening." So it was something special when we finally got to produce a song together, and he would see that. So he would say, sometimes the best deals that you do are the deals that you don't do, because you have to realize that the right deal should come up, and you should work with the people the right way instead, and you have to be very careful with the people, with in general. So I did learn a lot from him, and in all of the music industry dealings, to really cover the whole spectrum of the music industry from a 360-degree angle, where I can turn around now and manage an artist, or for publishing or songwriting or production, or everything that I've utilized with my karaoke business, where I just love even nurturing when you have little kids come up to you and they'll say, I want to sing, and and it's like, well, what do you want to sing? And then the parents actually have taught the kids like all of their music too. So it's really fun, like to see a kid in front of a big audience. Maybe they're afraid, and they'll just say, "Can you just stand next to me? Like, can I
That's
hold
so
your
cute.
hand?" And I'll be there to like nurture them and to say, "Hey, I got you. Don't worry." And then it turns out that these kids grow up, and everybody, it's like evolution. It's really
Hmm.
fortunate and blessed to have this ability, and to meet all of the families in every culture, every age, every society, and it's important to realize that. And then the same thing with the Queen's Chamber of Commerce, that my dear friends, I started out years ago, where Lucy Nunziato and Joseph Praviti, and then Jack Friedman, who was a personal dear friend of mine, he would just talk to me and say, "How come, you're not doing this? How come you're not working with the senior group? That's my people. Those are my, I run that place." So I was like, "Of course." And now I'm involved. Like every day, I think of him, and how when you realize that you have connections like that, you want to come through for people, and they'll remember you for forever. And
Yeah.
now the Queen's Chamber is even more powerful and popular with Thomas Gretsch and Brendan Levy, at the helm. and they're been allies of mine. I've been ally of theirs, and we're growing. And I try to pitch them with things that I'm getting ready to do also, which we're at that point now as well. So, realizing, well, you have to stay in top of the news also. You have to realize what is happening in the world.
Yeah.
And when you realize those things, some of the news kind of shows you a direction that people are going in, whether it's technological or communication wise, or with the way people are handling the finances and things like that, where money is coming from, who's looking to promote something, whatever. So it's important to really have a center of where you get your information from, and where you can go back and forth and kind of react to each other and try to help um, make things happen on a bigger scale. So those are the people that I would say have been my uh, mentors. And I would have to remember also, there's a young lady by the name of Evelyn Carrasco, who's with the Small Business Administration Development Center, who's been a really great ally as well. And just, coaching and listening. A lot of times when you talk and you listen to yourself, you learn a lot as well. You don't realize sometimes, unless you write things down
Yeah.
or you listen back to yourself, you want to see, like when you sing a song. I don't know, do you sing also? Maybe you like to get to sing sometimes, but you only know when if you sing well, is A, you have to look into the audience. And if you see that they're all fascinated by your voice, they say, wow, you did so good. And then you might be recorded somehow. Maybe you listen to yourself and you say, "Oh, that's me. I don't know if I like that." Or maybe you're like, "Hey, I didn't realize I was that good."
Yeah.
So really kind of what you have to do is always, study and always learn and always evolve and always try to be better. And I think people appreciate that as well. You know, you could be
Hmm.
yourself. You could be as harder on, I'd rather be harder on myself than hearing somebody else be harder on me, because I could be really hard on myself.
Yeah.
And, then you can just say, you can adjust. It's easier to have constructive criticism. I
Yeah.
always would.
I think we're all hard on ourselves to some extent. We're our harshest critic.
Exactly. So, but it's a great thing to have this opportunity with you, and getting to work closer with your organization as well. If anything that I do on a bigger scale, I see us collaborating together where it could be very
Mhm.
helpful on a bigger scale. And they're going to say, "Well, how did you do this?" And I'm going to say, "Hey, you got to talk to Krishma. That we did it together. All of us."
So, what attributes of yourself do you consider that like create success in your business? Because I can already tell like you have an outgoing personality, and that definitely contributed to your success, especially since you're always like networking, basically.
I feel that you have to be able to be engaging, to be uh, I don't want to say charming, but you want to be engaging. You want to be welcoming, to opening up the doors to new relationships, as well as having the experience to know, maybe you're referred by someone else, and that's a beautiful thing, to be referred by someone else, because that means that something you've done already had set the tone and opened up the door for you to work with someone else, because they said, hey, you did such a great job for them. Then I trust you, that I want you to do the same thing for me.
Hmm.
So attributes I think that are really important is that I care about each person individually. I don't ever treat someone like the same as somebody else. I get to know someone, and I have a really great memory that
Yeah,
people.
you like personalize it in a sense.
Right, right. Like if I knew what you liked, if you told me like what dessert you liked, or what song you liked, or what restaurant or whatever, like I remember that like forever. That everybody kind of challenges me, like, oh, that song that you know that I like. Like I do. Like I haven't seen you in like 5 years. How do you expect me to remember? But then it's like I have like a file cabinet in my head. I don't know how it happens,
And
but
you
it's
just
like
remember.
I might remember the song before I remember the name. That's like the funniest thing. So it's a nice thing to see when you have the ability to get people together and see them on a good, when they're healthy, when they're in good spirits. Because a lot of businesses, you see people when they're not doing so well, like doctors. You're
Mhm.
never going to see a doctor unless you're not feeling so great. A plumber, you have trouble in the bathroom, you call the plumber and you say, "Get over here really quick." Like for me, it's like I'm here to celebrate something. It's
Exactly.
that's a beautiful thing. I'm very blessed that in that aspect. So those attributes come in handy when, it's like you become part of the extended family to people. And I've always enjoyed that to
Mhm.
break through, in different cultures as well, just to realize how important that is for people to feel that you genuinely care about them.
So, what has been your biggest failure that you've experienced so far? And how did you, or what did you learn from it?
Well, it seems to stick in my mind that I remember one of my accountants had told me, they said, you should hire more people to do what you do. And I tried to think about that, but it's like I started to realize that it's not so easy, first of all, to get someone to care about your business as much as you do, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, Also, it's not every it's not a standard type of job where you're training someone to do a service like that. This is more of like how do you get someone like Billy Joel? How would you get Billy Joel to get a replacement for Billy Joel?
You
you
can't.
know the only person that like you see that they have these Billy Joel tribute bands, that when you can't hire Billy Joel, you could still go to see a tribute band if you want to hear. But how many people still love to go see Billy Joel, like at Madison Square Garden when they can, or whatever, or you listen to his record. So that's the same kind of with me. Is it was not easy for me to try to find someone, and everybody would say if I hired somebody to take my place, they were good, but they weren't you. So that was kind of like something that I always, I don't want to say it was a failure, but if I could find a way to do multiplicity, to have more of me, that would have been great. Because for me, I'm like an inventor. Like I'm always inventing new things, and I think of different perspectives and say, how can I help you, or who do I know that can do something. So at this point, I can't say that I like even if it might have been a failure, like to not uh, get a job or not do something specific, whereas the turning point, um, I don't feel that there was anything that I should have done differently. It's just that you do have to be lucky. I feel that I every day and every show that I do and every client that I meet and everything that I develop is all positive. Is every day is like that. I just love to do that.
Mhm.
And meeting people, and you just never know what it leads to. You don't have to always look at it as a business, because you're developing relationships that go beyond business as well. And that's kind of what I have developed over the years. And it's been I guess maybe because I care too much, maybe I care so much that it's not just about business with me.
Mhm.
My
More than
my
that.
yeah, like people would say, "Oh, I want to pay you, I don't have, I'd want to pay you $2,000, but I only have 1,000, and I know that's not good for you." But I'd say, you know what? If that's what you have today, I gotta help you. I feel, I'd rather do that and come through for somebody rather than just to say, no, you can't afford what I do. I'm sorry. So yeah, there's times where if you do something and do it the right way, somehow you get rewarded in the long run, no
Yeah,
matter what.
exactly. It's not always about money.
Absolutely correct.
So what's your relationship with TIQC? Because I know you've mentioned before you met Ying and you guys had connected.
I did sign up. I did the certification program for the Tech Incubator program at Queens College for during the course of the pandemic, and I had been guided by all of the programs. It was a 10-week program that I was involved with, and Ying was very gracious and helpful. And I would just say that we need more time. There was not enough time. Because if you really think about it, uh, you realize how much you need to do to catch up, and need to have allies that you can create. Maybe find if you can't pay someone in the beginning, you get volunteers, and there's other people who are looking, to help you in various things. So you can try one avenue, and if that avenue doesn't work, you try something else, and that's what's good about having the people who were involved in the Tech Incubator program, was they would educate you on when you're ready to go into the world of technology, of how to use the internet on your to your advantage, and different whatever the product or service that you were going to offer, what's the best way, the pathway that you can actually uh, utilize, and they're willing to help with that as well. So I gained a lot of knowledge and perspective from that, and thinking you just didn't know when the pandemic was actually going to end, or will you ever be able to get back to the way things were.
Mhm.
So you have to kind of realize, like, what happens if this happens, what happens if that happens. So it became something of a good feeling to know that there's a lot of options, there's so many options to go. And I would like to do more. They have NIH grants that I was looking at getting involved with, for the SBIR and the SBR grants that they have. And they look at your involvement with a school,
Mhm.
like people were going to team up with you, that you're not doing everything by yourself. It's very helpful. I think that there would be something of to advocate for us to team up a little bit closer, so we can move forward and maybe get grants, or to implement some of the things that for all the programs involved. So not just from mine, but maybe to open up the door for other programs that Ying and the staff were looking to do also. So I definitely see my website needing upgrading and a whole bunch of other things, but you have to pace yourself too. I mean, you have to stay healthy and mentally. I think mental health and the
Comes first always.
ultimate importance at this point. So that's where I am at this point, and I would love to do more together.
Yeah, well, our doors are always open for you at TIQC. But I want to thank you for doing this interview with me today. So yeah, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, and so much.
No problem.
The fact that you're there, and I definitely want to take advantage of the resources that you offer, and the people that were offering them as well. So I
Yeah,
definitely appreciate that, and now getting to meet you as well.
no problem. Thank you, Russell, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much again. God bless you.